from Washington, Republican from Utah, and member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Senator Orrin Hatch, here to talk about the Kagan hearings. But Senator, first of all, your thoughts on the passing of Senator Byrd.
Well, he was an institution here. He was a man who really loved the Senate just impeccably, and he was a great leader, probably the greatest procedural knowledgeable person in the United States Senate history. And back in 1977 and 78, I led the fight against labor law reform. He hated my guts, and I didn't like him very much either. But over the years, I started to realize what a truly great man he was in so many ways, and I grew to love him, and he actually grew to love me. And it was an interesting friendship. The man was a great senator, no question about it, whether you agreed with him or not.
Hey, Senator Hatch, you just heard Jeff Sessions, the senator from Alabama, saying Elena Kagan had, quote, serious deficiencies. Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, there are concerns. You know, she's had less than 2 years really private practice and very little experience in the law. And, you know, your question is, what is her experience? What is her judicial philosophy? And these are matters that really do concern all of us. But there's no use kidding. This is a brilliant woman who has been dean of Harvard Law School, who certainly has a lot of capacity, but it remains to be seen just what she actually does feel about the rule of judging and so forth. I think it's going to be a contrast between the empathy standard and the umpire analogy, in my opinion.
Jeff Sessions brought up the F word, filibuster. What's the trigger for you to launch a filibuster?
Well, the only people who have ever filibustered a federal judge happen to be the Democrats. And by the way, the President Obama, supported the filibuster. So, you know, I think it's premature to talk about anything like that. Personally, I don't think judicial nominees should be filibustered. But we'll have to see. I don't think anybody's going to do that. After all, there are 59 Democrats, and I suspect there'll be a few Republicans who will vote for her regardless.
Republicans have long been deferential to a president's choice for Supreme Court justice. It's the Democrats, of course, who went to political war over Robert Bork and over Clarence Thomas. And then, of course, you had 93 senators in all supporting Bill Clinton's choices throughout the 1990s. Is that changing? Are Republicans becoming more like Democrats and being a bit more aggressive, fighting against a Democratic president's nominee?
Well, Republicans will never be more like Democrats. The fact of the matter is we always have treated people a little bit better than they have. It was disgraceful the way they treated Robert Bork, one of the greatest legal minds in the history of the country. And, of course, Clarence Thomas, it was just outrageous the way they treated him as well. I don't think Republicans are going to be that mean, and they're certainly not going to be that mean with regard to Elena Kagan. But I think there'll be some tough questions asked. You know, it's going to be a lot of questions about abortion, military recruiting, the Second Amendment, and free speech. These are all important issues where we've got to make sure that she comes through those with, at least an acceptable judicial philosophy.
All right, Senator Hatch, thank you very much for being on the show this morning. Take care.
Thank you, Senator.
You bet.